Come here, son, nephew, young man. Let me holler at you. A few weeks ago, actually 2 weeks ago, I took my son to a STEM and robotics competition. I had actually never been to one of these before. I had an uncle who tried to get me into engineering. At the time, not to make excuses, but my head wasn't in the right place. My father had passed about a year or two ago, and even though this relative is a retired engineer, I didn't understand what he was saying, and he didn't really go into detail about why he was saying what he was saying. No matter, here we are today. I've been able to convey that information to my son. He gets it, and he's on that path. And I would like to see other foundational Black American students get on that path as well. You see, at this competition, my son was the only Black student from his school on the robotics team, and one of very few foundational Black Americans or other Black people in the vicinity. I see this too often in the school I work at and at other schools. And I've had some students, and I'm going to eventually, once I learn how to work StreamYard or StreamLab or one of these types of deals, I'm going to get some students of mine, former students, to talk about their experiences taking my courses. But I have a few who have gone the route of engineering, and a few who have gone the route of programming. I need to catch up with one who went to Full Sail University, who decided to go into video game programming. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the way of the future. Even when I talk about trades, for example, on my TikTok channel, I was discussing how truck driving is a viable option. And someone said, well, yeah, until the self-driving trucks show up. And you know what? To a degree, the guy is right. But what if a young person had the wherewithal to not only get a CDL to understand how the truck works, but to become proficient in coding so he could also write the programming that drives the truck, or finds a way to manage a fleet of trucks in that route, in that manner, rather. Hey, look, the possibilities are endless from that standpoint. So let's not just fear. Let's not fear technology. Let's own it. Let's learn how to create it and how to manage it. Most people's responses, and I talk about this in my customer service class, you're going to have somebody before the week is out either respond to one of your questions saying there's an app for that, or you're going to be telling someone there's an app for that. Therefore, if you can write the apps, you can get paid, and you can have what's called job security. The more things you can do that other people can't, the more you're needed. The more you're needed, supply and demand dictates that if the supply of people who can do what you do is low, then your demand is high. Stay in demand using these types of skills. That psychology, I know it's interesting. I know for some people it's a cop-out, but unless you're going to go all the way to get licensed, I'm not going to say you're wasting your time, but you got to understand the world is getting more expensive. Inflation is outpacing raises on careers that don't already pay well. Now, granted, if you're going to do public service work, yes, you can get your student loans paid back, but you still need to be getting ahead as much as you can financially. People ask me, well, how come you work so much? How come when you leave one job, you go and do these other projects? Because I saw this a long time ago, just because I'm able to understand graphs, charts, and read trends. The world is getting more expensive. And quite frankly, I want you to think about something. from the standpoint of employers, are you really trying to pay people enough to make them wealthy, or are you paying them enough for your business to run? I know that stings, but it's not like nobody's telling you you can't own your own business either. Your family can't have its own operation. You can't be an independent contractor. Nobody's saying that to you. So a person's making a choice to be a worker, and that's fine. Getting up and going to work is an honorable thing. But look at all of the factories and plants that have been shipped overseas, such as General Motors, so that employers can pay cheaper wages and have a bigger profit margin. You need to be in positions where you can control your destiny, to where your skills are in demand, and that you can do as many things on your own terms as possible, and so you can generate as much wealth as possible. The Bible even says in Ecclesiastes chapter 9 or 10, I'm not going to do a whole sermon today, but wine makes happy, a feast makes people happy, or it makes one merry, but money answereth all things. When you need your light bill paid this week, they're only accepting cash, credit cards, and debit cards. That is all. When you get to be an adult, especially you young men, I've said this before, and I'm going to continue to say it over and over and over, because I need you to get the point. Nobody is coming to save you as a man. And as a foundational Black American, I understand the plight of any foundational Black Americans who may be listening. I understand the stereotypes. I understand how different prejudices exist. I'm speaking from experience. I know what you're up against, and the more skills you have, and the more of an economic advantage you have, the more tools you have to work around awkward situations in life. Please take this advice. Please get as many. And then there's even certain certifications now that you can get for free. You can look on Erica Williams' channel, and she has a lot of links to other channels to where you can learn what STEM certifications are out there that you can get free. You can look up free STEM training. You can look up free coding. The information is everywhere. You just have to put in the work. Don't let these opportunities pass you by. Don't let your skills become outdated. Learn how to read trends from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics website, so you're not entering into fields that are shrinking and that won't exist in 5 to 10 years, and then you have to start your skill set all over. At this point, I do believe I'm rambling. If you need this information or you need help, you can email me at motivationequation@gmail.com, or you can leave comments in the comment section. And as always, never lose the will to win and never lose the will to survive.